Hi everyone, Steph here from Handbagaholic. Now today we're going to be taking a look at a real and a fake Louis Vuitton Neverfull bag. Now before we get started, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down here if you like designer bags, and definitely drop me a comment below. Let me know if this video has helped you and what real versus fake video you would like to see next. Now, the Louis Vuitton Neverfull bag is one of the most popular designer bags in the world, which also means, unfortunately, it's one of the most faked designer bags in the world as well. Now, not all fakes are created equally. Some are obvious fakes and some can be super fakes. So the super fakes are really hard to distinguish from the real thing. Now, the one that I was sent, which I ordered on eBay by mistake, I thought it would be genuine and the seller had fantastic feedback. Unfortunately, it turned out not to be the case, and luckily I already had the exact same Neverfull in an authentic version. So this is the Louis Vuitton Stephen Sprouse Neverfull in the MM size. This was a limited edition piece. You can no longer buy it. It's 11 years old, and luckily, because I've been able to put them side by side, hopefully it will be quite obvious to you some of the flaws on the non-authentic version. So with no further ado, let's take a look at the real versus fake Neverfull bag. Here the Neverfulls are side by side, and the question is, can you spot the authentic one? So if you guess the one on the left, you are right. So the bag on the left hand side is the real one, and I'll keep this consistent throughout this video. And then the one on the right hand side is the fake. Now you can probably tell just by the way that these bags hold themselves. So the fake one here is borderline falling over, and it's kind of hard to put this into a video, but when you get a bag in real life and you're used to handling these bags, you can just tell pretty much instantly from the kind of feel and the look of the canvas, the way that it behaves, and also the smell of the bag. But this is a really good way to show you that the canvas on the authentic one here is much more sturdy, and the fake one, it just kind of folds over. So the quality of the bag just isn't there. Now this bag isn't a super fake, but it is a really good fake. Most people wouldn't be able to tell that this is a fake, so I'm going to show you the details. I'll show you these next to each other, but the craftsmanship just isn't as good as the authentic one. We'll start here with the rivets on the side of the bag. You can see the rivet on the authentic one is center, whereas here on the non-authentic one, it's kind of lopsided towards the bottom, which doesn't look good at all. And then if we look at the handles, there's some obvious differences here. The leather's just not the same. There's a really small line running around the authentic one, but on the non-authentic one, it's not there. There's like a double stitching at the end of the chevron, which isn't there on the fake. And overall, the leather just looks completely different and just doesn't behave the same. And the shape of it as well isn't cut the same. So now if we look at the handles, just in a little bit more detail here, you can see the stitching as well is just completely different. So the stitching is thicker on the authentic one, and it's like a light yellow, whereas that's like a golden yellow on the fake. And then if you look at the handles from the side, the authentic one is just thicker and just feels better quality than the fake one. So here we go again. I had a bit of a nightmare filming this video because the fake one kept falling over. So nicely, let's have a look at the bottom of the bags now. So this is why it keeps falling over. The canvas on the authentic one is just much nicer. It kind of, the sides of it like roll outwards and it keeps its shape really nicely. This bag has not got a base shaper in it, just for reference. It's just that the canvas is still in good condition. And it stands up fine by itself. I'll lay it back down here. And then the fake one, yeah, the canvas just kind of flops over. You'll probably start to notice differences in the colour of the canvas and the logo print, but unless you're seeing them side by side, it can actually be quite hard to distinguish. Again, it looks like the roses on this, the fake bag is kind of printed on. It just seems to work a little bit better on the authentic one, but the size of the bag as well, when you put them next to each other, the non-authentic one isn't quite the right dimensions as the authentic one. So if I just stand them both up here, you'll notice the difference in height. So the fake one is very slightly smaller than the authentic one here. It's just not as tall. You can start, I mean, the side of the bag, again, it's quite hard to see many like obvious differences there. The stitching's okay. The print is slightly different, but they don't always match up perfectly. Another giveaway, again, is this side piece. So this is the authentic side piece. I'm going to show you these close up together in a second to compare. But the stitching's nice. It's got that line round the leather again. The hardware's there. The stitching is really neat. It goes round the leather or around the edges as well, which you'll notice that's not the same on the non-authentic one. But overall, the craftsmanship's there. It looks good. It's all neat. It's all centered. And yeah, the print here, it doesn't line up perfectly. They don't normally on Neverfulls. So that's a bit of a hard one to use as a way to authenticate. But you can probably just tell the grain of the leather and just kind of the look of the canvas, not the leather. These are made from coated canvas. And the stitching is slightly darker on the fake one as well. So now if we take a look, it's got that kind of red leather line round, but the stitching doesn't go round the leather. It just kind of stitches together. So now putting these side by side, it'll be a lot easier to see the differences. So again, you can see the stitching there goes round the edges on the authentic one. It doesn't on the fake. The same for this bit here, there's 5 stitches instead of 4 stitches. The craftsmanship's not quite there. And also the hardware, so there's a flat gold back on the authentic one here on the left hand side. Whereas on the right hand side, it's just this kind of, they both stick out either side. So that is a giveaway. Next up, we'll take a look at the lining of the bag. So the authentic one, the lining is bright. The logo stands out like the Louis Vuitton, Champs-Élysées Paris, the stripes. You can see that the fleur here from the logo is centered. And one of the main points is that the zipper is the same color, exactly the same color as the rest of the lining of the bag. This is a huge giveaway you'll see in a second. And again, this is the shape generally of the hardware from Louis Vuitton, which the fake just doesn't replicate exactly the same. So now coming on to the fake, the lining is just not as bright as the authentic one, and it seems to almost be bobbling. So it's made out of a different fabric, maybe cotton, whereas the other one just feels a lot more hard wearing. You'll see that the little fleur isn't centered here on the zipper compartment. And the main giveaway with this bag is that the zipper is not the exact same color as the lining of the bag. It's like a light pink versus the darker pink lining. The print just doesn't stand out as much. It's like it's kind of printed and then being absorbed by the lining of the bag. It should stand out a lot more. And you can see the hardware here, it's shinier, and also it's round as opposed to kind of round and then straight at the top. So side by side, again, you can see this a lot more now. You can see the pattern isn't quite right on the fake version. That fleur is not in the center. You've also got 2 fleurs right at the top, so quite far apart on the real one and really close to the kind of leather tab and the fake. So we'll just take a quick look here in more detail. Got Louis Vuitton Paris made in France stamped on there, and the zipper. It doesn't look too different on the fake actually, but the main point is that the zipper colour is totally different. And just to get the hardware a bit closer up, the fake, which is the one on the bottom, is round, and it should be kind of round and then straight at the top on the authentic one. So the hardware hasn't been replicated very well, and you can see the stitching is pretty bad on the fake around the top. Now let's take a look at the date code tab. So the date codes, these are not unique to the bag. They don't mean that the bag is authentic. You can check your date code using our free date code checker. I'll link to that below. But the date code is located under the main pocket on the right hand side of a Neverfull, if you're looking at it straight on with the pocket at the back. So this fake does have the date code in the right area, but as you can see, it's stamped in a different place. But the main thing is that it's not aligned with the leather. So it's been stamped at an angle, which generally Louis Vuitton will do these fairly straight. So that's a dead giveaway that it's a fake designer bag there. If you are ever suspicious about a pre-loved Louis Vuitton bag that you have purchased, I do highly recommend using a designer authentication service. They spend day in and day out looking at these bags, especially the Neverfull, because they can be replicated quite well. To the untrained eye, this fake bag probably looks fine, but when you put them next to an authentic one, you can see that the quality just isn't there. It does look very similar to most people. It looks like exactly the same bag, but it is definitely not as superior as the real one. So if you head over to Handbagaholic, I have listed the best authentication services for you to use. I'll keep this updated on a regular basis, and hopefully you can avoid the inferior fake Louis Vuitton bag. And as you can see, it just keeps falling over. Now, I get quite a few comments on these real versus fake videos where people want the link to the fake bag. Now, the fake listing doesn't exist anymore, and just to put this into perspective, I paid exactly the same amount for the real one and the fake one. The fake one has now been refunded, obviously, but I really just don't condone counterfeit bags in general, and I'm not going to promote them. I create these videos to help people authenticate pre-loved items that they're not sure about the authenticity for, and I encourage the professional services of authenticators to make sure that you're getting the genuine item that you ordered, as opposed to a counterfeit and someone trying to scam you. Now, if you'd like to see the details of the fake versus real bag in more detail, I will pop a link up here to the blog on Handbagaholic, where I've put some high resolution images comparing the real and fake in more detail. Now, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, and I will link the video just here for you and down below as well, I have had a authentic and a fake Palm Springs mini backpack. Another bag that is fake so much from Louis Vuitton. So if you want to become an expert in that, check that out. And also, I've got a playlist of real versus fake designer bags, so make sure you check that out.